Hello, class. I'm Joel Smith, and recently we've been talking in class about intersectionality. Um, to start off, this has affected my writing by giving me, especially from grammar geeks such as the commas presentation or the proper quotation presentation on how to properly get my point across, also as well to convey a message that's trustworthy and gives credit to those who I have received information from. This relates to intersectionality by just saying how we give credit to everybody no matter who or where they're from, and how everybody's views and opinions can be validated and used to enhance one's own writing. Um, on top of intersectionality in general from class, one of the main points I've gotten is intersectionality as a barrier, and how it kind of stops students from being themselves. For instance, say you have a student from a low income neighborhood, or that's that comes to the university and goes to, let's say for instance, Stanford, and how, like in our story we read and annotated on, tries to assimilate themselves into that new lifestyle on the basis of trying to fit in and not be an outcast based on not knowing or how to act in these situations based on how they've been raised to a degree. So it's more or less like how they try to rebuke their own traditions and their own culture to look good in the eyes of other students. And to this degree, intersectionality seems to be a key point in trying to break that by showing how you can pull different aspects of people's lives and their traditions and relate them to everybody else that they come in contact with. So you can relate the rich kid to the poor kid to the educated to the maybe needing educational help to a degree, and how all these different resources are available to help these students thrive and to become the best students that they can, while maintaining and bringing their own unique perspectives and traditions onto the table to enhance everybody's writing and in general just college experience. Another one would be intersectionality and how it affects gender. Recently we've talked about feminism and how that is a main part of how intersectionality and the third wave of feminism has worked. And to this degree, it is very important that we understand that understanding everybody's backgrounds and being able to bridge a revolution or a new wave of ideas or thoughts takes everyone and not just one group of people, such as, like, for instance, relating Kingston's writing. She said you have to separate, for instance, what is Chinese tradition and what is the movies. And for here, we have to understand how do we separate what is our own goals versus what is the goals of everybody in that group. To this degree, Kingston kind of writes in No Name Woman about how intersectionality, just how her traditions in itself differed herself, for instance, from Kate Chopin's reading on The Story of an Hour, and how a Chinese woman in the Victorian age and a English woman in the Victorian age had very different lives, but certain aspects of how they were ruled over by the patriarchal society influenced their life. Um, and just to this point, intersectionality is key to understanding that and relating other people like Gloria Anzaldúa and, for instance, Karl Marx, and how, though they lived at totally different times, how their viewpoints and just, for instance, how they were alienated, how they relate to their own culture and how they accept it, how that's a key point in how they've developed as writers and how they develop as leaders in their respective fields. So overall, it's just that how intersectionality, I feel I've learned, is how it's a key point into understanding your own life and those around you, and how that can just make an impact onto every little thing that you come across, whether it be science, writing, engineering, and any major, any field in general, and how it's a key factor as the world moves forward, how we should be able to seek to understand each other and the world around us. Thank you.